Good afternoon, my friends. Lovely to see you again. So we're on day one PTR stuff right now. The deck building is a lot more difficult because of provision cost as well as deck size and the balance you need to make, you know. So I wanted to share with you one deck from each faction for those that just want to try some different types of decks. So let's have a look and we'll go through the decks now. So the first deck we're going to look at is a Nilfgaard deck, Cahir Boost. We'll be using one of the main cards here in the deck is Cahir. When an enemy is boosted, boost south by the same amount. Okay, so the idea is in round 3, we play Cahir, and then we boost the opponent's highest card as much as we can. Okay, or the card which has already been boosted for them. And we just boost it and boost it and boost it, and he'll get the boost equal to that amount. So we'll be boosting it with Thunderbolt Potions, Swallow Potions, Nilfgaardian Knights, you know, Rainfarn as well. And while we're boosting the opponent's cards, Cahir will get equal boost. Now we finish it off, because that's the silly strat without this, with Regis Higher Vampire. You drain all boosts from an enemy. So you've been boosting up the enemy loads, and then you've been gaining the same amount of boost, and then you just drain it all away for a big power play at the end. Okay, which is pretty cool. Now the deck has some other high power combos too. One of them being the Stefan Skellig. Spawn and play a copy of a tactic card you played this turn. So we play Stefan Skellig, and then next turn we play, I think in this particular deck, we play the Vigo's Muzzle to seize an enemy of 5 power or less, then lock it. So we steal a card there, and then we use Stefan Skellig to replay it. Now, hopefully, you'll be able to play it from Menno Cohorn, who plays a tactic card from your deck. So Stefan Skellig, and then Menno Cohorn into Vigo's Muzzle, and then replay it with Stefan Skellig. So bear in mind, a lot of these cards, like Stefan Skellig and Cahir, they're all quite vulnerable to removal. So I would suggest using a Thunderbolt Potion to try and keep them safe, moreover than anything else. We also like to use Avalak. Avalak is quite important to give a unit immune, and we try and give that to Cahir by placing him down first, maybe Thunderbolt Potion to keep him alive, and then using Cahir and instantly making him immune, which is good. So the next deck is a Skellig Queensguard damage deck. So the basic premise of this deck is to do loads of small value pings and gain value from that. So we'll be using Mastercrafted Spear to deal 1 damage every turn, if possible. We'll be using things like Sihil to do 1 damage every turn, and hopefully try and kill things, increasing the value over time. And we'll be using Howard Houndsnout as well to ping our own units, because our own units want pinging too, but also do damage to the opponent. And we want to get value from this in quite a lot of ways. You know, Uncrate Greatswords, when an enemy on the opposite row is damaged, boost south by 1. Dagger Two Blades, whenever an enemy takes damage, boost south by 1. We want to activate our Shield Maidens, okay, to summon an extra copy. We want to activate our Queensguard to get another copy, and this spawns a new copy. So these can go on infinitely up to the row limit if you can keep them alive. And there's just a lot of nice ways that we can activate and get value from all these. Joanna here is a nice card. Whenever an adjacent unit is damaged, boost south by 1. We can place her on the right hand side of a Queensguard, because a Queensguard spawned to the right of the previous Queensguard, Joanna will always be next to the card that is going to get pinged, which is a really nice combo there. Okay, so we've got a lot of cool stuff. We like to use the Caretaker to try and get Sihil out again, which is pretty nice. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not entirely sure, they might change it before even tomorrow, that when Sihil permanently increases damage, when you Caretaker it, it comes out at the permanently increased damage, I think. They may change this very quickly, because I think that might be too powerful, but it's definitely a good thing to do there. And we've chose Harold the Cripple because 10 damage is a nice quick burst of strength, which is one of the stronger leaders in that case. And if you've got Dagger Two Blades on the board, then it basically turns into 20 points, which is crazy. So this is a nice deck. I like it. Doesn't have much in the terms of safety, but I think it's fun to play with. So the Monsters deck runs Wild Hunt Sabbath, and quite an annoying strategy. This deck Wild Hunt decks revolve around you having the highest point unit on the board. We use a lot of cards which give us a bit of an advantage in this case. So Parasite, for example, where you can damage an enemy or boost an ally, whichever you need at the time. But The main combo is with Imlerith. Now you should be doing this in round 2, hopefully, to push them if you won round 1, or in round 3, along round 3, hopefully. But Imlerith is the highest unit is an ally, damage a unit by 2. And it's got cooldown 1, so 2 damage every turn. That's quite a lot in this new valued game. But basically, we use Caranthir to spawn a 1 power copy of a unit, which is Imlerith, from hand and on the unit's row. So we get a 1 strength copy of Imlerith on the row. And then we use our leader card, boost the unit by 4 and make it immune, to get an immune 5 strength Sabbath on the row. Okay, so it's an immune 5 strength Sabbath. This is why you do it in round 2 when they can't pass, or in round 3 along round 3. So they can't do anything about this one, and it's just 2 value over time all the time. It's really annoying. And then you can play your Mastercrafted Spears to get 1 value over time. So that's like 3, 4 value per turn. Then you can play your other Imlerith Sabbath if it survives. That's another 2 value per turn. We've also got Renew, because if we renew a unit from our graveyard and we make it the immune Imlerith Sabbath, he actually renews with immunity. So we can replay our immune Imlerith Sabbath, which is really quite powerful. We've got a lot of cards here which play units from our deck, our gold cards, which is really important. And some nice power plays in round 1, because hopefully round 1 you'd like to push the opponent out of round 1. We can use the Witches for this. We can use Nithral, which is quite a powerful card. We can use the Wild Hunt Riders as well. We've also got a bit of safety in things like the Mahakam Ale, where we can boost a card and remove its lock. So if something gets locked, like Sabbath, we can boost it and remove the lock, which is great. Okay, so pretty powerful. You know, it's good. Have fun with that one. For Scoia'tael, I am giving you a Dwarf deck. Now, Dwarfs, you know, it kind of builds itself a little bit. There's a lot of... I think it kind of plays itself a little bit too. You'll kind of understand what you're going for here. We use Filavendrel to boost all cards in hand, because some of them get value from that type of thing. For example, Mahakam Defender. Every turn on turn end, if it's boosted, boosts itself again. So that's a really good card for value over time if they can't get rid of it or damage it straight away. And we can try and boost it with other things later on. We've also got Mahakam Marauder. This unit is already boosted, gain resilience. Now, again, a really nice card, especially if someone passes you and you're going to get a maximum hand size discard. You can actually just play this card for free and also get resilience, which is a really nice thing to do. Now, there's a lot of other cards. We also use the Dwarven Agitators to boost a dwarf in our hand by 2. And we kind of want to stick that on something like Sheldon Skaggs. He's quite a powerful card, damage an enemy by this unit's power. And he's one of the rare things which can actually remove more powerful cards, like something that is protected like 6 or 7 strength, that was initially 4 but maybe got thunderbolted by 3. He could remove it from the board, which is a really nice thing when you come across some particular strategies. Being able to counter that with something like Sheldon Skaggs is really, really important. We've got some flexibility cards in here. I really like Moran, locking a unit or damaging an enemy by 3. I think flexibility is really good, so I do stick her in. But there's a lot of other cards, you know, that basically you want to stack on a row and then use the Mahakam Guards on the other row to boost this by crazy amounts towards the end. But we can use the Operator to spawn another Mahakam Defender, which will hopefully gain value over time. Also gives one to the opponent, so be aware that you will have to deal with it. And that's where Moran and Sheldon Skaggs can come in handy. But yes, I mean, Dwarfs, they genuinely will play themselves a little bit. So just read the abilities when you get them and start dumping cards on the board. It's pretty good. So for Northern Realms, I've got a Charge Foltest deck. Now, Northern Realms, I think, is probably the weakest faction, and Charge is very underwhelming. A lot of it is very weak to removal because it's low tempo plays, because of the orders and summoning sickness. But you can give it a go. The basic premise is we've got a lot of things with charges, and we want to obviously give them more charges and utilize those charges best we can. We use Mastercrafted Spear and a lot of damaging potential. We want to try and get these Revenants to actually destroy something. They are hard to keep alive, though. But we've got a lot of things with charges. Now, the golds in this deck are the things that hopefully will bump this deck up a little bit. So we've got stuff like Synthesis Blaze, who has 5 charges for 1 damage each. Bloody Baron, which doubles an ally's charge, which hopefully would go on to Saskia Blaze, so it goes straight to 10. We've got Selkirk of Gullet. It's a great card with Foltest to actually boost an ally by 1 and gives it Zeal, which means it can attack straight away. Selkirk of Gullet is really good in that respect. We've got Sihil to do value over time to just kind of help things like the Kidwani Revenants. John Natalis gives everything Zeal. 6 Strength is usually outside of removal range quite early on. Priscilla, give a unit charge and cooldown by 1. So you give a unit charge every turn, which is okay. But again, dangerous. And Dandelion too. Whenever an ally gains charge, boost it by 1. It's very reliant, but again, it's very low tempo and not too good in terms of safety because things can be removed like Dandelion, Priscilla. You use Thunderbolt potions to try and make them safe, and you can use Foltest to try and make them use their ability straight up. But it is a difficult deck. I'll try and build a better one tomorrow, I think. So that's about it. Let me know your feedback. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again very soon.